Guys, welcome to the 92 Diaries with your girl, Miss Chardz.
I'm Juliet.
And I'm Fee.
And today's topic is, are you afraid of being Mary Jane?
Dun, dun, dun.
Here we go.
Let me kind of explain this one. So basically, being Mary Jane actually is the name of a program, an American program, and basically Gabrielle Union, my girl,
Beautiful.
my girl,
Absolutely
beautiful, is the lead star basically, and it's all about her as a career woman, getting to a certain age where, you know, she feels like she's now pressured to have to be in a relationship, or a serious relationship, or a committed relationship, to be and get married. But she's spent so much time focusing on her career, and getting to a point where she's well off in her career, but that kind of leaves her single, and, you know, having to do things like freeze her eggs and so on and so forth, and the worry that she's not going to be able to have kids on time, or there's going to be complications because she's getting too old. And now it's kind of like a crackdown to get married and settle down with someone, where she's actually kind of not having the best type of relationships because of the pressure, as instead of it like kind of like flowing well. And so this topic is more in that line of how women are feeling pressured to get married younger so that they can have kids on time, or so on and so forth, or having to choose between their career and family life, and not focus or get as far in their career because they are getting married or having to have children early, and so on and so forth. Or are you just generally worried that you are focusing a lot on your career, and therefore you're getting older and of an age where you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna panic, I need to be with someone and start having kids, if that's your thing.
It's not my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
That ain't my thing. That's not my thing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I think this was just a purely vain reason for being worried about it. It's just I didn't want to be that mum in the playground with a Zimmer frame. Not that I was ever going to be the case.
God forbid.
That sounds ridiculous.
God forbid.
But it's just like, you know that clip. You know that clip with Kevin Hart where he's showing that he's talking about that old man that's got a baby, and he's like from back in like the 80s, and he's like, young blood. I didn't want to be that mum. That was it. Sister, help a sister out. Okay. I didn't want to be that kind of mum, but now looking back on it, and obviously I don't really feel like I've lived life long enough for me to even be mentally prepared to say that I'm gonna rush into anything like that. I'm just gonna enjoy life, and what happens. I think we get a lot of external pressure as well from
100%.
our parents, mums in particular. Like, as soon as I finished uni and then I qualified, mum was on me like, okay, you know, get ready, start looking, you know, your grandmother is asking me if you have met anybody who has caught your eye. You go to a wedding, is anybody there that you like? And I'm just a bit like, mom, like, chill out. Like, we've been here 5 minutes. You know, let me get jollof rice and sit down. Like, but as I've literally just learned to be in a position where just let everything flow naturally. Don't force these things. Like, there is no specific time. There is no perfect time. There never will be a perfect time. You don't even know if the person that's supposed to be with you is even in your life right now. You just know them, but you've not taken them seriously. Like,
but that's what the pressure is, though, isn't it? It's like, okay, let me tell you mine. I kind of had a plan. You know, this is me. I like schedules, timetables, calendars, so on and so forth. So for me, it was, I want to be a young mom, similar to what Fee's on about. I want to be a young mom. I want to be able to run around with my kids. I want to be able to, you know, go to the rehearsals, recitals, and not feel tired or worn down. Be able to run with them, play with them, and so on and so forth, and relate with them, you know, in a way where we're not too far in terms of a generation, and I can get it, you know. So my whole plan was, you know the guy who I'm going to marry by, you know, it's kind of 20-ish. Okay, let me work backwards. Be married by 25, right? And start having my kids, have all my kids before 30. That was my idea. So working backwards, married at 25. You obviously want some time with your husband. I don't know about y'all, but I wanted some time with him just alone. You feels me? So essentially, I should have known him for like 2-3 years before that. So technically, it's like I should have met him or have met him by 20-ish, between 20 and 22. And how much you haven't even started your career before you're like knowing this person who you want to be like super serious with, and like getting to where I am now. It's like I have focused on my career. It's not like I have neglected relationships, period. I haven't found anyone serious. I must just put that out there. Mostly because guys of my age are typically unserious. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Not all of them though. Not all of them. Not all of them.
She's not just clearing her throat, you know.
Don't choke. Not all of them.
Typically unserious. Even those that are 10 years older than me are still sometimes typically unserious. So it's like, dude, what age do you really need to be before you were serious? So you know what, it's kind of about working out quite well for me to be able to concentrate on my career to maybe 30, because it's like it seems to be more of a trend that guys start to crack down and get serious from like 30 something to 40, and it's like maybe then, I don't know if y'all have your own midlife crisis and it's like, oh, I actually need to get serious and actually have some babies. I don't know, but
40. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
no. Wait, Juliet.
It is pushing.
Mad. Absolutely mad.
Juliet, let me just say, this is gonna sound stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I know what I'm about to say is purely fictional. You guys know me. I read a lot of romance books. I spend a ridiculous amount of time with my nose in a fictional book.
Oh, my girl was a Mills and Boone queen back in the day. Anyway, back in the day.
Thanks. Thanks for letting everybody know that. So really, I'll give you something to sip. Basically, most of the characters in the books, the women are like early 30s, sometimes late 30s, men late 30s, sometimes early 40s, and they create the characters in such a way where they're at a point in their lives where they're all put together, and it just so happened they're put in the circumstances to meet this person. Do you get what I'm saying? I think this whole have this plan by 30, what is it about 30? I feel like people think that 30, like you're entering into some sort of midlife, semi-midlife
hearing the eggs cracking. That's why
I'm
people
not hearing no eggs cracking.
I think
that's what they feel. That's what they feel.
I don't take away from that, but it's just
I think it's also a media thing as well, as in like the healthcare system have kind of put a crackdown on us and been like, oh, once you're over a certain age, once you're over 35, you're gonna have complications on having kids.
Okay,
and so
let's just put like a little like fact out there to like, if we're being like, you know, if we're being factual, after the age of 35, your egg quality does actually tend to decline. And that's just how it is. For some, like, let's not say some women aren't having children older. A lot of women are having children after that age, but there's an increased risk of complications.
That's my
little
point.
like tip information there, you know, like small.
That's my point. Eggs cracking.
And I feel like, to be honest, I feel like if we're being real though, oh my days. If we're being real though, I think there's a lot of pressure for everyone to have your life together by the time you're 30. And I'm not even just talking about in terms of relationships. I'm talking about jobs. Yeah. We're talking about like having a house. Like by 30, if you haven't got your shit together, everyone is looking at you sideways like, what? Yeah. And I think there's this immense pressure for us to basically have everything sorted in our 20s. Have this ready. So by the time you hit 30, you're ready to go. You're full adult now. You have everything. And I think, to be honest, that crazy pressure is probably what had us thinking when we were like back in school, that by the time we were this age, we'd have this, and by the time we were this age, we'd have this. I think I actually mentioned it on Thoughts of the Mic podcast, if you want to listen out to that one. So with that, I was saying, like, when I was 24, and I I'd graduate uni when I was 23, get married at 24, spend time with my husband until I was about a year or so, then start popping kids by about 25, and next kid at 26, basically have all of my 3 kids by 30, have my house, have my job, and be on my way to being a consultant doctor. Guys, I am 26 now. I am in medical school. I graduate in 2 years' time. Where is my husband? Where is my house? Where are my kids? I have none of those things. However, I still feel like I feel like at the moment, because my wider circle of friends, not everyone is even married like that. A lot of people are still quite career focused. I don't feel the pressure to necessarily be all the way like down the aisle when pregnant. I don't feel that pressure. So I feel like in that, like if we're talking about being Mary Jane, I don't feel like I'm at that point yet. But that's not to say things won't change once I do hit 30. Maybe by 30 I'll actually be like, hold on, your girl is still single. But for now, it's like I don't feel the pressure as of yet, but I can understand where it comes from, because from a young age we are sort of taught to basically have this and this is in line before you do anything else. And if you don't have those things in line, you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. I get where that pressure comes from.
And you're somewhat behind or slacking. And it's like, I'm trying my best out here. Out here. Given the circumstances, that's about the women to men ratio, first of all. And then I'm gonna put it like this. The readiness ratio, right? It's not adding up. And someone needs to visit the chalkboard again and redo these calculations, because from what you guys said or what was put out there as to what I'm supposed to have achieved by now, I don't see the other half. I'm doing my part. What they doing? What they doing?
Just for some context, Zoe has done very well in her career, if I might say so myself. Our little homeowner over here, we will proud. I'm looking for her to also teach me small, but just saying.
I'm doing my shit. I'm getting my P's up. I'm doing my IP at the minute. My career is, tricking.
I wish you saw what happened, guys. She just put on her glasses. She's ready to come for heads right now. She's
her non-lensed glasses. I needed to make that non-lensed glasses that she uses to concentrate.
Yeah, I have 20/20 vision, guys, so I cannot look through a lens without getting a headache. Therefore, I have to use my own eyesight, and the only way to kind of look through a frame and have that kind of concentration tunnel vision is looking through a frame with no lenses. So let's just get that.
This is how Zoe uses metaphorical principles to justify her madness. Here we go.
We love you and we accept you for who you are. But have you guys ever, has it ever crossed your mind that maybe you might be one of those people that just does it the other way around?
100%.
Career first and then kids.
100%.
No.
Oh, wait, what?
Not even because there are a lot of people out there. I've met you Chardz, you remember one of the women we used to work with at 111? She wasn't married to her partner, but obviously they were living together. They had 2 kids and they were very they were very committed to each other. Some people, maybe the way life is supposed to go for you, you're not supposed to get married first of all.
I think everyone has their difference in opinion. I think it happens and it's life. I don't personally believe in having kids outside of marriage. That's just my personal preference. I'm not saying that, if you're not married, your household is any less secure or less together, but I like that traditional concept of mum, dad, married, babies. What? KISSING. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in the baby carriage. I think
it is baby in the baby carriage.
What, an egg in a baby carriage? I don't know.
That's so interesting, though, guys. We've been singing that song since we were in primary school.
It's a subliminal message in itself.
If we're being real, it's been put into our heads since we were in primary school that this is the way that the world is meant to work. This is what we're meant to be doing with our lives. And I think, in a way, that could be potentially problematic, because I think we are putting pressure on people from a very young age to basically be making sure they get their shit together in that sort of realm before they do anything else in life. So for some people who haven't necessarily done it that way, they might think they're doing it wrong, but actually that was the right thing for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not one to try and say how it's supposed to go. I just know at some point I would like a life partner and I would like kids and I would like a healthy household.
Can I ask, do you guys feel that the more you focus on your career or the higher you climb in your career, the harder it is to find a suitable partner? Do you find that?
It depends on you as a person. I've dated people that are not of the same, what people would say, professional standing.
Status.
Really, I'm not going to say that word. I'm not going to say that word. I'm not snotty.
State your
okay?
occupation for the audience, guys.
Status.
But,
just saying.
But it's, and then in the beginning you think to yourself it's fine. Sometimes it depends on the person that you're with though. Some people, like some of the people I work with, their partners are not in the same like type of line of work, and some are. So it's.
I don't think it's just about your occupation though. I'm talking about status, and I think this is a whole another topic that we are gonna come to in terms of dating like on your level. Like
you
dating
guys
on your
have
level.
met my family. Yeah, you guys have met my family though. I don't know what kind of level,
but it's like in terms of it actually working out. I totally, like, as a whole other topic, I really think people should date on their level. Like, I think it does not work as much as you want to get money doesn't matter, or this doesn't matter, and it is about people feeling secure, about feeling that, you know, in terms of the same thing, like, okay, appearance wise, people go for what they feel is more of their like their level. When people say you're out of my league, they say that for a reason, in terms of, oh, you're more good looking than I would even classify myself in terms of the same, in terms of levels, basically. And if you're with somebody who's so far out of your league, you're always going to have the insecurity that they're going to be with another person, or they're going to jump to another, whatever, and that insecurity sets in from there. So I think dating on your level, whether it's appearance wise or however you want to, stature wise or money wise or occupation wise, it's just stature wise too. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can always build on that, but I think you have to be reasonable when you're choosing your partner in terms of levels. So dating on your level is a whole other thing.
Are you levels? Are you even levels though?
Come on.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm ridiculous enough to say don't date me unless you can squat me.
Oh, I can't even lie to you. She ain't lying.
Squat
I
more
can deadlift myself. I can really deadlift myself. So
yes.
unless you can squat more than me, don't approach the belt. No, I'm just playing. But
she ain't playing.
That's what I mean. Levels in it. So just like I think it is very important, and occupation wise and level wise it is, and that brings me back to the point as to the more you build on your career, or the further you go, the higher you go up as a woman. I think it is very difficult, or it becomes difficult. It starts to seem difficult because you have ruled out a lot of people below, like on the level that ain't yours, like below your level. You've ruled out a lot of people, so the field isn't even as open. And then those ones that are career driven, or the ones that are ambitious, either they're so focused on getting to a goal that they ain't even checking their mirrors, like they're just like, you know, they're not even looking looking sideways. And then they're waiting until they get to a certain level, which is at a point of like 30, 40, because they want to build their career so much to a point where they feel comfortable to raise a family and so on and so forth. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's not. It's just that when you build your career as a woman and you get to higher levels, your pool for the picking gets narrower and narrower and narrower. And it's like, I think it's difficult dating as a, you know, well off or successful career person as a woman. I personally feel.
You know, I think there's probably truth to what you're saying. I feel like at the moment, because of where I am, obviously I can't relate like that, which is a shame. But I feel like in terms of the kinds of people that I would hope to date in future, I know that I would hopefully not be dating someone who isn't on a similar level to me, because I think there are certain things that I'm going to want to aspire towards or want to hopefully get or hope to be able to purchase. And if we're not on a similar salary, or if don't have the potential to earn higher, then realistically we're not going to be reaching those goals. So I think if we're being realistic, there's nothing wrong with setting your standards. Like, actually, I want someone who earns similar to me or possibly even more. Like, there's nothing wrong with setting that if you have particular goals in mind, or if your goals are aligned in that way. But I think, and I just to say, put it out there, I wouldn't want to be with someone who, I don't think of education status. Like, I know I wouldn't want someone who wasn't educated maybe to a similar level. No, I feel like so bad.
No.
But it's the truth though, isn't it? Is it not? It's the truth, right? Like, I feel like I wouldn't want to date someone who isn't educated to a particular level. Hopefully, if it's not like high, like literally like the highest level apprenticeship, we're talking like a degree, because I'm really about to have 2. So really and truly, like, I need to know, like,
tell us how it is. Like, no tea, no shade.
You know, like, I just feel like not to say that everyone who comes out with a degree necessarily is completely the smartest, but I feel like there are particular skills that you pick up. There's a certain number of people that you've spoken to, and there's a certain number of challenges that you face as a result of your degree. And I don't think I don't know. I feel like I want to marry someone who is of a similar education status in that way to me. The job thing, I can't have too much on that because I'm not working yet. But in the field, I hope to be going. I'm studying medicine, by the way. When I qualify, I don't think it necessarily makes sense for me to be.
Don't overlook that. We got a medicine. We got a med doctor on the mic. Med doctor on the mic.
I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think it's really much. I hate you.
Guys, my only thing is this though, because you're saying that, but there are a lot of people in this day and age that don't go to uni and they're still very successful in their own right. You're going to tell me you're going to shut the front door?
No, I'm saying that, but the thing is that the
way Chardz raised her finger at me.
No, but like I think, to be honest though, if someone who started their own business has a certain level of intelligence, they've been able to make it that far, and I think that's the difference. What I'm talking about is,
you got to make that clear though.
That's the thing.
But it doesn't mean have a degree. It doesn't mean like you can have. When I say a degree in life, that sounds really like crappy. Do you know what I mean? It don't actually exist, but it's like you have the same experience. You know how people get honoraries or whatever for a degree that they didn't do, they never studied, but you have basically have the equivalence of the education equivalent for that degree. Yeah, because you've put in that much work in terms of building your knowledge. You basically have the equivalence without actually having to go to uni.
I stand that. Like
that's a level. That's a level. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like
and you have to be. You don't have to be stamped to say degree, but you have to have reached a certain level of intelligence. And we're talking about education. We're talking about, a certain level of intelligence. It doesn't mean that, there's people that go to uni, and no offense, get third classes. I'm not saying that it's rubbish. Obviously you passed. Do you know what I mean? But if you're comparing someone who's got a third, you can't really say particularly that the level of education is equivalent to someone who got a first in the same degree. Can you? Mm-hmm. No, but they both have a degree. But we're talking about level of education and level of knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better way of saying it, actually. Like, I'm not saying they're business owner with no degree, so therefore they're cancelled. I'm not saying that. I'm like, nothing's not necessarily like that strict. Like, we're not saying if you don't have these requirements, so you can't get on. We're not saying that. But I think there's a certain level of experience that I feel like I have a right to say that I'd like. Like, I'm not trying to, be with someone who I can't relate to, because there's going to be certain things that I'm going to be saying or doing, particularly in my field as well, that maybe if you are like not necessarily like a certain education level, you might not understand why I'm doing these things. Or when, for example, because I know eventually I also want to get a master's, so I'll be able to deliver certain levels of therapy and stuff in my clinics. And someone who hasn't necessarily had a certain level of education might not even see the point in me getting a master's. They might actually be talking down at me for doing it, or saying, you have enough degrees, why do you need more? And it's like, I feel like having someone who understands why I actually even want to continue my education in a certain way would be better than someone who would talk down at me. Because I actually had someone who at the time didn't have a degree actually say that to me, like, why am I doing this degree? What's the point? Why am I doing this now? Like, you think you're like, it's just like, you do get that from some people who haven't gone to certain levels in life. It's a shame, but I think otherwise you'll get too many misunderstandings in your relationship, and I don't want that.
So when I talk about the pool also like being smaller for those who are more educated or of a high or focus on their career and aspire to be further ahead or more successful, I personally have experience where a guy's intimidated by my level of success, and therefore at first the interest is based on my level of success. It's like, oh yeah, she's ambitious, or she's smart, she's intelligent, blah, blah, blah. And then when it actually gets into it, it's like, I can't actually really match up. And you pull away or you pull back, or you start acting stupid. I'm going to throw it out like that. You start acting stupid because you're actually you're intimidated by me. And that's what I mean by you need one, you need to stay on your level. And two, the pool gets smaller.
Just for everyone who to know, we both have 2 qualified pharmacists on the line, guys, and they've both worked very hard. They qualified, got their degrees, passed that pre-reg and that, and now they're living their best lives. Pulling back out now.
I don't know if I'm living the best life, but
girl, you know what?
Okay. What was Chardz? I'm always saying how guys tend to, some guys, not all, some guys, they look at it and they'll feel like all the success that you've got is like very attractive, and then obviously they realize it's a bit too much to handle, and then they try and backtrack on it, and that's a given. I think that's going to happen despite wherever you go, whatever you do.
But
it
this
might
is
not
like,
even
it's
necessarily
discouraging to women to want to go that far, because it's like you at the end of the day, no matter what period you want to do it, most people are aspiring to have a family, and as a woman, it's like you're having to have to choose out of how far you go or how much you aspire to be something. And
I will say,
and your family
I'm gonna get what I want.
No. Let me give you an example. Serena Williams. What did she sacrifice? What did Serena Williams sacrifice? Nothing. People always going on about how she's like, oh, she's intimidating, she's this, she's that, she's too much of a like. And then look at her now. She's got the husband and she's got the family. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
and he holds her career higher than he does.
It's gonna come with the territory. You're just gonna have to continuously weed out these people until you meet somebody who's not intimidated by it. It's just gonna happen, I'm afraid.
Smaller pool.
But I don't
smaller and
feel,
and smaller.
I don't feel, and if there's anything I've learned in all the years I've been on this life, I will not stop, hinder, demise, or diminish anything of myself to make you feel good about yourself. If you don't feel like you can handle it, then that's fine. You go and find somebody who can. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about being Mary Jane. I'm not. It is what it is. Like, I'm gonna live my life.
I think you do kind of experience. I think saying you may not be worried about being Mary Jane, which is great, but I think you do experience a part of being Mary Jane along the way. I know I have, because it's not just the potential fear of, is there really actually anyone out there that can actually do it on this, and him and him and him. Even if you push that fear to the side and be like, you know what, my time will come, and personally, my life is God led. I believe He has a plan for me and a purpose. I am highly favored. Hallelujah. So I think my time will come, even though as a human being you have those worries, you have those concerns, but the part of being Mary Jane is the issues that I'm talking about, and yes, you've got to weed them out, but it needs your experience in those things where you notice that guys are intimidated because of your level of success, or you have a smaller pool to choose from because of the level of success that you have, and in turn look for in your partner. And a lot of people, there's quite a few people who are successful, but there's quite a few people who are not successful, and the bigger pool of non-success is bigger than the pool of success. So it's kind of like the pool's getting narrower. So I think,
I don't know,
if you can't be, that's great, but you may experience it.
I think, you know what, I think a lot of the time we almost give guys too much credit. I think, you know what, I never really understood the whole, like, you know how you were saying, like, you feel like some guys aren't ready to settle down until they hit like late 30s or like 40 even. I personally actually haven't seen that, to be fair. I've seen guys who actually are younger, happy to get married as long as they find a person that they feel they're happy to be with. And I think it really just depends on it depends person to person, because you'll find women who don't want to get married yet, and there's plenty of guys who are ready to get married earlier but their partner doesn't, and I feel like it really just depends again on the person. But I think with some guys, especially the kind of guy that I would hope to marry, where he probably is in his career right now, he understandably does not want to settle down, because you've got, like, things change when you get married in terms of, like, because your goals it's not just about you and your goals, it's about what your your family unit, that's your unit now. What is more important, your unit or you? And a lot of the time you kind of focus on your unit when you're in that kind of relationship, whereas when you're not married, you have more time to focus on yourself. And I can completely understand anyone who is probably around our sort of age kind of choosing to focus on themselves first, get themselves right before they start seeking marriage. Like, I completely get that, and I'm in the same boat, to be honest, because I know that I don't want to be coming to the table and bringing nothing. Like here's my papers stating a couple of
vagina.
Okay, I meant papers in terms of, like, what? Literally, I wasn't ready. Like, what? I meant my degree papers.
As a woman, if you don't have nothing else, it's you come to the table with your vagina, because that's the portal for life.
Sorry.
No, that's the portal for life.
I'm sorry. I'd like to. I no.
Dude, like, like, that's biology. If you have nothing else to you to bring to the table, the only thing you can present on the table is your vagina, because it is the portal of life.
You don't present it. You don't present it. Okay.
This is why you should have other things, other assets.
No. Stop it. Just
you know, my
stop.
head, I'm bamboozled.
I can't even. It's the way you're saying present. I just have this image of someone lying on a table and spreading open their legs like it's a Sunday. Stop it.
You know what's funny though? I feel like you don't like, if you want to, you know, have sexual relations, you don't need to get married to somebody to do that. You can do that without having to get married at all. So really and truly, listen, I'm just like,
talking about sex. I'm talking about giving life to that person's kids. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having their babies. If you have nothing else to you, the only thing you can present is a portal to have that to have that person.
Am I a flipping wow portal?
To have that person's kids. But that can be anybody. Do you get what I mean? There's nothing that defines you. And vag gets old. I don't know, but
my eyes just crossed.
And it's so, if that's the only thing that exists, or that's the only thing you can bring to the table, there's vag here, there, everywhere. Like, anyone can use anyone's portal. Do you know what I mean? So you need to bring something else to the table. You need to bring something else to the table.
Out a gateway.
Listen, this is my thing, yeah. Women, do not worry about being Mary Jane, okay? Like, you need to bring some stuff to the table. So focus on your career, focus on your ambition, whatever it is, your dream, your hope, your goals, have something else to you, and don't just be an empty portal. That's what I'm saying.
I said portal, I still can't get over it. However, you know what, Zoe, like, what's it called? Chardz definitely has a point. Hold on, just to say, I'm going to edit this bit out. But anyway, jumping back into the podcast, I 100% agree with Chardz. I feel like when it comes to women, you don't have to worry about being Mary Jane, to be honest. I think there's always going to be that societal pressure to have to get married at a certain age, and I think it's about kind of trying to stay focused on what your goals are. Your friends could be entering relationships, that could be something that you could be learning from, and in the meantime continue to work on your goals, and you'll find someone who you're meant to be aligned with as you continue to be doing what you're aligned to be doing and what you're meant to be doing in the first place. And also, I think when it comes to relationships and the whole idea of having a baby, I would hope to God that the person that the person I meant to marry is not simply looking for a vagina, so to speak. I would hope to God he's looking for more than that, because I know for a fact we all bring more than that to the table. So that shouldn't be all he's looking for. And I think to be aware as well, I think for girls, if the guy is only interested in that and you can tell that, or you sense that, and you know that's not what you want, don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to actually say, you know what, I realize this person doesn't want as much from this relationship as I would like, and I'm ready to call it a day. You know, I'm ready to move on, because you deserve better than that. So hey.
Yeah, it's just a friend.
All I can say is I'm like Bulma Briefs. For those of you who don't know, that's a character on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my life. Okay.
I'm the Bulma of the situation. I'm just waiting for my Vegeta, and he took a minute. He took a minute to arrive. I'm just saying. It took a minute, but when he arrived, he was fine. But he arrived. That's what I'm going to say.
Mad? Vegeta was acting like he wasn't on it, but Vegeta's a better.
He was on it from the get-go, bruv. He played hard to get, bruv.
But when,
but I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
Goku is moving like Goku's a part-time dad. You know what? Piccolo is a better dad than flipping Goku is. However, I still love Goku, so you know her. But I'm not trying to be Chi-Chi out here, you know?
Like, no one's trying to be Chi-Chi out here. Everyone wants to be Bulma
about Dragon Ball Z right
now. Like, it's actually relevant to life. Listen, Chi-Chi.
It's real, bro. Vegeta's got good qualities.
No, listen. Chi-Chi actually fought the man in the flipping ring and told him, I'm angry because you didn't marry me. He finally married her. Is he in the house? Man is training on another planet. He left his family to be raised by Piccolo.
I'm surprised they have 2 kids.
Can you imagine?
He kept dying.
Okay, so guys, there's life lessons in Dragon Ball Z. Apparently, you can learn a lot in life from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, you find yourself a man like Vegeta who's stable and dependable.
Oh, brilliant.
Leave all them Gokus out there.
Krillin as well. Don't be dating no Mr.
Y'all can't be dealing with no Gokus. Alright guys, we gotta go because we out of time.
We are outside.
We gotta go. So y'all have heard from, Fee, you've heard from Julie, you've heard from me, Miss Chardz. You guys comment, subscribe, like, share, do what you do. We love to hear anything you guys have to say, whether you agree, disagree, who's your favorite. I'm just saying, throwing that out there. Just do what you do best. And we gotta be out. Join us next time. Feels me?
Love you.
Deuces.
Bye.
Bye.
Fantastic.